Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill Williams, and I want to talk to you today about CATMO to glory. When I was teaching dentists, we used to do something called the cross of life. We would talk about balance in our life. And so we would start off with self, family, job. Of course, the job is down at the bottom in importance, right? And spiritual. So spiritual is always at the top. Your maker, what you believe in, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of your life. And so the cross of life, we look to balance and spend the right amount of time in each quadrant. We don't want to get too far out on one side. Now, what do you do most of the time in life? Well, you make money. You spend your time making money. You spend your time making money so you can spend money. You spend money mostly on your family, taking care of your family, right? You work a job, you go to work yourself, you make money so you can spend money. And it's the cycle, it's the circle of life that we talked about earlier, that you got to complete the circle many times every day, every year to have a complete life. Well, there's more to it than just work, and there's more to it than just spending the money and ending up with zero at the end of the month, right? And so I want to talk to you today about CATMO. CATMO is the answer to breaking out of that endless circle where you're never getting ahead. What is CATMO? CATMO is what is the heart of OnPassive. CATMO explains OnPassive. And so briefly I'm going to explain CATMO. Complete, digital, system. That means online business, everything you need online and offline to do business, to be successful in the world, is contained within CATMO. Within the system that we're building. Automated. Automated so anybody can do it. Automated so you don't have to do it. So it's done for you. DFY, done for you. And also, it's got artificial intelligence. That means it's not solely dependent on humans to give you the results you need to be successful. Artificial intelligence does the drudgery work behind the scenes so that you can be successful without a lot of manpower behind it. Artificial intelligence, AI. The next 20, 30 years will be the AI generation. Now, T, targeted traffic. If you know where everybody lives, the email address, the phone number, the IP address of their computer, you know all that, you can target traffic to the people who need the products that you're selling, right? And so OnPassive has a unique way to know everything about everybody on the internet so that they can send them targeted traffic. Why is that important? Well, most banks store money because that's what they do. Most data centers store data because that's what they do. And you've got to get the data from someplace to make money. Well, it takes targeted traffic to do that. You've got to take it from where the knowledge is and put it to use. And so here we are, we're creating targeted traffic so that your business, so that the OnPassive business will be successful. And what happens when you have the targeted traffic? The millions and millions of people that join the system? Money. So OnPassive creates money from targeted traffic by going through an automated system, a complete digital system of 40 different products, platforms, and services that are offered to the public. Now this OnPassive company launches in 2020. And what's going to come from CATMO is Total freedom, TF, for the founders. We're talking specifically to the founders right now. You'll have total freedom. You'll have freedom of time, freedom of money. Those things will happen because you're a founder, you're a member, you're part of the beginning, what I call the tip of the sword of the people who joined OnPassive. So if you're fortunate enough to have heard of this already, and you're already a founder, you can basically sit back and say, I've reached the pinnacle of my career that from this point on, I'm not going to have to worry about the future. The future's going to come to me rather than I have to go to it. If you're not a member, you should be a member. You should be looking at this going, how do I get in now? Because it's going to be an avalanche of people coming in when it launches to the world. And it's much better to be in before the launch than after the launch, although both are good. So, you got the cross of life, you got the balance you're seeking. You're making money with CATMO. But you know, that's not the whole picture. That's not everything about OnPassive that's important. Yeah, a lot of people see things and they understand things based on what they see. But there's a lot more that you don't see. So I want to cover a little bit about that today on the other side of on the ledger. So let's start right here. What would you do? What would you do if you had your dream job, your dream career, your dream income? You know, would you keep working, doing what you're doing if you had all the income you need? Or would you change your modus operandi? Would you stop working? Would you quit work? Or would you just do work more effectively and efficiently because you weren't worried about the money? Now, I've often thought about that myself as a dentist. If I had all the money in the world that I needed, would I still work? And the answer is yes, because I'm still working. And at age 70, you know, I could have retired 10 years ago, but I keep working. But I tailor the experience to fit me. And so I created a way to finish well. That means that I don't work 5-6 days a week like I used to. I work only 2 days a week. And so you might look at your job to keep your balance because you like what you do. You may keep your job and you work less days with more intent and be with the people more rather than have to scrape just to make profits, because you're doing it because you love doing it rather than because you have to do it. So that's kind of the question I ask you. What would you do if you had all the money in the world that you needed for your family? So that's the thing about finishing well. You design it, you create it. It may be you want a new home, that dream home that you always wanted and never could afford. A lot of people live in apartments and rent. They don't live in a fine home. Well, if you're an OnPassive, a founder, you will be able to afford a fine home. What if you want to take that dream vacation? You know, I've always dreamed of doing an around the world cruise. And so I never considered it until recently. And now I think this is something I might do one day. If I could ever convince my wife to take off about 180 days to go around the world, she wants to see her grandchildren more often than that, so I don't know. We may have to bring them with us. What if you want to just travel 2 weeks out of the month and just go places? That's a goal that a lot of us seek, and we could do that if we're a member of OnPassive. Basically, I think everybody wants to be debt-free. We want to get out of debt. We want to feel the weight off our shoulders of debt. It's a big thing. Helping hands around the world. So the world needs help. The world needs people to help feed it, to help stabilize it, to help guide it. And so we're going to have an ability to be helping hands to people all around the world. How do we leave a legacy? Leave a legacy. We leave a legacy by creating things that have lasting value. And so things that you buy at the store, they come and go, right? Cars rust, they wear out. Clothes, they get holes in them, throw them away. So we want to build things that have lasting legacy value. And so one of the things that I want to build is a family dynasty. I want to build something so that my grandchildren will know about their granddad. I want to build something that will go on beyond and pave the way for them to be successful. Not do it all for them totally, but pave the way for those grandchildren and great-grandchildren to look back and say, you know, this is the day. 2020 was the year where granddad listened to a story and believed in it and took action. So that's what I'm looking for, is what can I do to get my grandchildren to have an easier way forwards. Speaking of forwards, a lot of things we want to do is pay it forward. Paying it forward means that you see something that would benefit somebody and you do it because you want to do it, not because they ask that it be done. And so you look for places to give back. One evidence that we have done in our dental practice over the years is we always look for people who were doing good things in the community, and we would give back to them. We would give them something that would be usually not available to them because of their income, their fear, something that kept them back. So we would do a dental makeover, and we call it Deserving Diva Foundation, Deserving Diva Smile Design, rewards for the people that really couldn't afford it themselves. And so we could give back by playing it forward, finding those people who were actually out there. And it gave us joy in our hearts to do that. Another thing you could do is do missions. So I think it's a big part of OnPassive's heart to support missions, to go on missions, to go to other places in the world that have more needs than we have here where we are. So we're always blessed, we think, to live in America. We're always blessed to be in the profession of dentistry. And so we feel like it's our job to go back into places and give back the talents that we have, to use them on the playing field of life, you might say, and help somebody else out when they need it. We can do that now. When you've got CATMO, you can do a lot more. It only takes a certain amount to live, right? You can give scholarships to students that deserve. Give them a hand up the ladder of success, as we talk about. So the bottom line is we have a family community for good. Everybody in OnPassive, the founders especially, are a family community for good. And so we're looking to figure out, how can we do this better? The ocean of OnPassive. So you've got this iceberg, and everybody knows about the iceberg. It's always a lot bigger under the water where you don't see it than it is above the water where you do see it. And so CATMO is like what you see. If you hear us talking about OnPassive, we're talking about how to make money, how to be successful in business, right? Well, that's just one thing, and that's kind of important. But what's down here, the 20% is what you see, the 80% is what you don't see. And the 80% is the give back portion of OnPassive. Give back. It's the heart of OnPassive to create such massive wealth that you take care of your family and yourself. You don't really need a job, although you can keep it and play excellent in your job, but you won't need it. We want to spend time looking at what we can do to give back to the community. So that's what a lot of the people who join initially are kind of gravitating towards, is the ability to do something that they never could do before. They always wanted to give back, but they never could give back. They wanted to fund projects that were dear to their heart, but they never could. They never had the ability to earn enough to get over the hump. Now they can. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of people finally with the ability to do something that's dear to their heart. And so what that's called is the crowning glory of OnPassive. So we've got the crowning glory of OnPassive. Glory. that's the whole point of why we're doing this, is to leave a legacy, to leave something on earth better than what we found. So we want to focus on the passion, the purpose, and the people. That's the heart of our leader, Mufareh. He has the passion, he's set the purpose, and he's all about the people. So we want to follow that lead as we start to look for people to join with us, to find the influencers of the world to join us. We want to find people who have the passion, they understand the purpose, and they're the type of people like we are. And so I want to encourage all of you to take a moment to consider what we've talked about here, the balance, the cross of life, setting the balance, finding your CATMO, because once you find it, you're financially free, total freedom. And then look at what you would do. We've got the chance to do things that we never, ever dreamed of. We can do these things now. Starting 2021, once the thing starts rolling and it's out in the public, these things are going to start falling in place, and we'll have places to play that we never had a chance before. It won't be a drudgery job. It'll be fun to go to work. It'll be fun to sit and dream about, what can I do today that will benefit somebody else? What can I do today that will leave a legacy for my family? So these are the things that I think are important, and it's CATMO to glory. It's Dr. Bill Williams. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a very good week, and we'll see you soon, very soon, because I know the soft launch is very imminent, and when it starts, we're going to jump for joy.